Welcome back, everyone. So today I'll be reviewing yet again another ARC book, and it is called All the Impossible Things, and the author is Lindsay Lackey. And this is the book that I would highly recommend to all of you guys out there. I had so much fun reading it. And thank you so much, Macmillan Publishers, for sending me this book. I enjoyed reading it so much. And now you guys just hang in there, and I'll be right back with this wonderful book to share. Thanks for tuning back in, everyone. So the main character's name in this book is Ruby, but everyone just calls her Red. And this book first starts off by talking about Red's mom. And it said, the wind came from Ruby's mother. That itself got me hooked onto the book because I was so curious on what that meant. Well, later on I found out that Red and her mom had the ability to control the wind based on their feelings. And actually, Red's mom is now in jail. And guess what? She's been in jail for almost 3 years now. You guys might be thinking, whose house would Red stay in? Or who would take care of Red? Well, turns out they had to send Red to foster care. This book also says the story about when Red had to go into foster care, and it was pretty scary. And now Red's just so tired of going to foster care to all these foster families because they've been so rude to her. There was this one family, and Red called the mother of that family the mom. She was so rude to Red, and she had 3 sons who were also rude to her. And she's just so tired of it. And actually, Red always wrote letters to her mom to see how she was doing. And all of her other foster parents have been okay with sending the letters. But this lady, the mom, did not even let Red write any letters to her. Well, Red actually has a social worker, and her name is Mrs. Adams. So she would basically take Red to different foster families if one of them didn't want Red anymore. So, of course, the mom family actually kicked Red out, so now Mrs. Adams had to take her to a different foster family, and they were the Grooves. As soon as they stopped the car in the Grooves driveway, a bunch of dogs just ran up to the car doors and started barking so loud. Well, Mrs. Adams managed to get out of the car, but Red stayed put exactly where she was. And believe it or not, this man and woman were actually waiting outside their house just for Red. None of her foster families had ever done that to her. And now Mrs. Adams starts talking to what looks like the Grooves, and finally Red gets out of the car. And now her new foster parents introduce themselves, and their names are Celine and Jackson. And they also introduce the dogs to Red, and I think my favorite name of one of the dogs is Hermione because I am a huge fan of Harry Potter. Okay, let's get back to this book. So once Mrs. Adams leaves, they all go inside the house, and Celine shows Red around. A lot of stuff do happen at Red's new house, which I do not want to spoil for you guys. And actually, Red meets this boy, and his name is Marvin, and it turns out he lives right next door to Red's new house. And at the beginning of this book, Red thought Marvin was so annoying. And actually, something happens between Red and Marvin, which I really do not want to reveal, because I had a blast reading this book for myself, and I definitely think you guys will enjoy this book too. Well, later on, Red starts to go to school, and the first day of school for Red was actually Spirit Day, so you can dress up as anything you would want. Well, Celine kind of forgot it was Spirit Day, so Red didn't even have a costume to wear. And when they reached the school, a bunch of kids were all playing outside with their costumes on, and they were all eventually called inside their class. And that's when Red found out that Marvin is in the same class as Red, and she was not really happy about that. Well, at the end of the school day, the teacher made an announcement, and she said that Marvin had something special to share with the whole class. Well, it turns out Marvin had made this type of Hawaiian food and wanted the whole class to try it. And it looked like purple jelly or purple pudding, and by that, everyone was so disgusted. And now Marvin's just so disappointed because he wanted the whole class to try it. Well, that's when the teacher made the whole class try it no matter what. And because she knew none of the kids are allergic to this type of food. And some kids even made excuses, and this girl said, "Didn't you get an email from my parents that I'm allergic to that type of food?" Well, she still didn't get away with it. And in a matter of fact, when Red came up in line to get the food from Marvin, she asked for 2 scoops instead of 1. And to be honest, it was actually pretty good. Another thing I wanted to share with you all is that Red's new foster family actually owned their own petting zoo. And trust me, they have so many unique animals. One of them is his donkey, and he does always a bunch of tricks for all the kids that come and watch him. And there's the best one out of all is Tuck the tortoise. And as soon as Red met Tuck, she knew that they were going to be best friends. Well, a lot of stuff do happen here and there, which I want you guys to read for yourselves. And actually, Red's new foster family allows Red to send letters to her mom, unlike the mom. So one day, she goes and checks the mailbox for the mail, and she finds her letters that she had sent to her mom a while ago. They've been sent back, but unopened. And now Red's so frustrated on why they haven't even been opened yet. So she just takes those letters to her room, and she's pretty angry. And later on, Red finds out that she's going to be going over to Marvin's place with Celine and Jackson, and because they wanted to have a little celebration just for Red, because she's now like a new member of the family. So they go over to Marvin's place, and Red just can't focus on anything except why those letters had not even been opened. Well, Red then finds out that Marvin has his own YouTube channel, and it's called Kitchen Kahuna. So he basically does all like cooking videos, and Marvin wants Red to be in one of his videos. So Red really didn't care, so she agreed to do it. And throughout the filming of the video, Red didn't say one word. And later on, they decide they can play some music from the ukulele and they can all dance along. Well, while they're all dancing except for Red, you won't believe what happens at Marvin's place. Red created a huge storm because, like I said before, she creates storms from all of her feelings. And it's not only storms, but it can also be like the calm breeze or something good. And since she's so mad about those letters, she just, let her storm out. And now they had to stop this whole celebration because Celine, Jackson, and Red had to hurry home before the storm got even worse. And even by the time they had gotten home, the storm had created a huge problem. They had gone to see how the animals were doing in their stables or in the barn, and it turns out they saw most of them were not even in their stables. Well, they managed to catch all of them except for one, and that one was Tuck the tortoise. Red is just so angry with herself, so Celine and Red go in the woods and start looking for Tuck. And I definitely will not reveal if they find Tuck or not. I want you guys to go through all the amazing adventures that Red goes through in this book. And let's go back to those letters. Well, eventually, Celine finds out about the letters and shares some sad news to Red. Well, she says that her mother had gotten out of jail 3 months ago, and now Celine is Red is so angry that her mom didn't even tell her. Well, it is, of course, amazing that she got out of jail, but she didn't even tell her own daughter that. Well, the good news is that Celine told Red that her social worker, Mrs. Adams, as I mentioned earlier, she's planning on a date on when Red can finally meet her mom once and for all. The day finally came where she could go visit her, and she had that feeling where you're nervous and excited at the same time. And after the day, that day where she met her mom, they kept having other days like this where Red can spend the whole day with her mother. And a lot of things do happen at the visits, and Red is just not liking it. And guys, when I was getting close to the end of this book, I literally could not put it down. I was getting so tense on what would happen next. It was crazy. And actually, a very surprising and sad part happens at the end of this book, and Red gets mad over a reason which I will not reveal, and she released her own tornado. And let me first say that before in this book, Celine actually got cancer, and this was so sad to everyone. And now, the good news is that Celine's doctor said that she's gonna be all right soon. So now Celine is actually in the hospital getting her surgery done. Well, now let's get back to the tornado part. as soon as Red unleashed her tornado, she felt so guilty she started to freak out. That tornado was now headed toward the exact hospital where Celine and Jackson were. And it was like amazing after that. I really don't want to spoil what happens next. I want you guys to read it for yourselves. It was mind-blowing. I also don't want to reveal if Red, continues with foster care, if she now lives with her mom forever, or Celine and Jackson now don't want Red anymore, or she gets adopted. I just don't want to spoil the end of this book. I want you to read it for yourselves. And if you do want to pre-order this book, the link is down below, and I highly recommend you to pre-order it. So the link is down below in the description box. So go ahead and pre-order this book. You will love it for sure. I hope you guys enjoyed this book review, and if you did, if you have any suggestions on my book reviews, then please let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell. Bye everyone, and enjoy the last days of summer vacation.